welcome back to Vera's View. I'm here to once again run down this week's Raw and SmackDown. I'm going to start off with SmackDown Live again this week. My first fail is the Chad Gable interview, solely because I felt like him and Renee Young were doing everything they could not to burst out laughing. It was just so difficult for them to keep a straight face during this segment. John Cena was my next and last fail for SmackDown Live. I feel like he's comparing his fight with Rusev to the war and things like 9/11, and it just felt really distasteful to me. I know it's probably not what he intended, and maybe you guys didn't take it that way, but that's how it was sitting with me, and I just didn't like it. Also, I'm not a really big fan of this angle anyway, because I heard it's going to affect Kevin Owens, because Rusev is now doing the anti-America thing, and, you know, Jinder Mahal has a huge anti-American shtick. They want Kevin Owens to move away from this new face of America, anti-American thing that he's been doing. So, I guess we're going to wait and see what they do with him. I'm sad to see that angle go, though. Moving over to my wins, Mike Bennett's jacket was my first win of SmackDown Live. He seemed to have Maria's, face spray painted on the back, which I thought was hilarious. It reminded me of the old school Rick Rude tights, except, you know, Mike didn't have it all over his junk, and it was his own wife, not, you know, Jake Roberts' wife. Charlotte tapping out to Becky was a big win for me this week. It just goes to show that at this elimination match, it's going to be every woman for herself when that #1 contendership is on the line. Fashion X-Files, of course, is a big win for me this week. It's the last win for SmackDown. I want to believe is the first sign we see when this segment opens. We get the great line, "Don't sully my search for Tully, Agent Scully." And then Tyler Breeze says, "Listen, Moldango," like Mulder, Scully. I loved the X-Files, so I was all over this. The light comes on, and Agent Scully, aka Tyler Breeze, goes from a skeptic to a believer real quick. Starts talking about how he wants to meet E.T. and Alf and Max Moon. I popped hard for the Max Moon line. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it tickled my funny bone. It turns out the light was just a delivery man who had a box containing Tully's head. The conclusion's going to happen this Sunday at Battleground. We're going to find out who's been behind all these shenanigans. My fails for Raw start off this week with 205 Live and the tag match, of course. That's all I'm going to say about it because I rant on them enough. Enzo's promo was my next fail. I love Enzo. I just felt like it was much too long this week. Sorry to say. My next fail is Tozawa versus Daivari. A little added fail is the fact that I didn't know that WWE had hired on Sean Daivari's brother. Wasn't the original Daivari, managing Kurt Angle for a while? So maybe this new Daivari should have been the love child we got on Monday night, not Jason Jordan. Which brings me to my next fail, Kurt Angle's secret, which was Jason Jordan is his son. I was disappointed in the delivery of this. You know what? It was a different type storyline for this new era of wrestling. Maybe they can salvage it, but this segment on Monday was an epic fail for me. I'm also kind of sad that it didn't reveal that, Sharmell was his mother. I know the timeline is off, but do you remember when Kurt Angle was like this weird sexual predator and was stalking the shit out of Sharmell on SmackDown? The good old days. My wins for Raw, though, start off with Dean Ambrose. He names a chair Steely Dan this week, and that's all that matters to me. Steely Dan is a win. Bayley pinning Alexa Bliss is my next win. This seemingly puts herself back atop the list of women to be #1 contenders for Alexa Bliss's Raw Women's Championship. But apparently Sasha Banks didn't agree. They take their issue to Kurt Angle, who decides that next week on Raw, it's going to be Bayley versus Sasha for #1 contendership at SummerSlam. Now, I don't think it's going to go over that easy. Nia Jax is not going to take this line down. Somehow, all 4 women will be involved in this match at SummerSlam. Whether it is a 4-way match or, it's a one-on-one match and the other 2 somehow get involved, it's going to happen. Elias Samson smashing a guitar over Finn Balor's head was a big win for me. We got to see some shades of Honky Tonk Man, of old school Jeff Jarrett. I really enjoy this side of Elias Samson. I hope he keeps going with the guitar smashes moving forward. Did you see the blood coming out of Finn Balor's head? I just loved it. Not that he bled, just the whole segment I enjoyed. But it looks like Finn Balor is moving into a feud with Bray Wyatt. After he was attacked by Elias Samson, Bray Wyatt came up on the Titantron and said, "You call yourself the product of Irish mythology, but I am not a myth. I am real. I'm the worst nightmare you've ever had. And you know what? I really like this eerie promo. Bray Wyatt's been doing a lot of odd promos lately, but I really thought there was like some really good delivery in this one. And of course, my next win has to be the Revival back in the ring. They had a big win over the Hardys this week, and also during that match, the crowd was chanting Brother Nero at Jeff Hardy, which I thought was great. Does anyone else think that this is going to be a big fail if they do try and do Broken Hardys in WWE? I think it was a little weird and over the top when they did it in TNA, and I can't see it working on that WWE level, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. I've been rewatching some of it lately, and I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to work for the PG audience. My last win for Raw, though, is Braun Strowman, proving he is the monster among men when he ruined the #1 contendership for the Universal title. It was Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns going at it to see who will face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but we never got a definitive winner. Technically, I guess Roman Reigns won by disqualification, but no referee stuck around to make that call, and I can't see that being a fair one. I think Kurt Angle's going to have a lot to say about this on Monday. Guess we're going to have to tune in and see what happens, but that's all for this week, you guys. Please check back soon for more Vera's View. I'm Vera for the WWFu InterNetwork.